everyone, I'm Sydney, the AmeriCorps Education and Outreach Coordinator with Wranglers, and today we are going to be making a non-Newtonian fluid. Just a real quick refresher, we have 3 states of matter on Earth that we mainly focus on, and those are solids, liquids, and gas. The simplest way to explain each of them would be a solid. It would be ice, and ice can melt and become water, which is a liquid, and that water can evaporate into steam, which would be a gas. And a non-Newtonian fluid is something that does not fit into one of those categories. Because there's already fluid in its name, that means it is either a solid or a liquid, but there's nothing really pulling it one way or the other. It could be classified as either, especially depending on the amount of pressure you put onto the fluid once you have it. This specific non-Newtonian fluid is commonly referred to as oobleck, and it gets its name from a children's book called Bartholomew and The Oobleck, but there's no reading prerequisite for this. You do not have to have read the book to make the oobleck. It's very simple. All you need to make oobleck is some cornstarch, some water, and if you want to add some color to it, bring in some tempera paint, and you want to make sure that it is tempera paint, not food coloring or another type of paint, because tempera paint will not stain, and making oobleck can get messy. It's fun, but it's messy, and oobleck, being just water and cornstarch and tempera paint, if you add it, is actually really easy to clean up if you add something to color it that does not stain. So the first thing we're going to want to do is you're going to take a cup of water and add that into your bowl. And then you're going to measure out 1.5 cups of cornstarch. Also, make a mess while just opening the cornstarch. So when you measure it out, get your first cup in there, and 1/2 cup after that. And I'm not getting exact cups here, exact measurements, because you don't really need to be exactly precise. You just need to get it all in there. Then there's no spoon required because you can easily mix this with your hands. So just get in there and start mixing. You'll notice as soon as you start mixing that when you try to put pressure on it, it's already hard. But you still want to try to mix that cornstarch up with the water even more, because the cornstarch itself is mainly what's keeping it hard right now. So you just want to play with it, get that cornstarch into the water, make it as dissolved as possible, and you'll start to feel the water get denser, which just means it starts being harder. And sometimes you may need to mess with the recipe. You may need to add more or less. So I think I'm going to add some more cornstarch. If you see when I hold it, it squeezes, but then the second I let go, it melted. It's melting. And this is what oobleck is.
Is it dissolving? Sorry.
It's not dissolving, it's just... So when you hold it, see, I'm gonna make a mess, come up here. When I'm not putting any pressure on it, it's flowing. But then when I put pressure on it, I can form it into a ball that immediately melts. If you see, after I squeeze it, it keeps its shape for a couple seconds until it just melts. Now, if you were to fill like a pit with this, why you would have a pit, I don't know. But if you were to fill a pit with it, you could easily, because of the pressure made when you run across it, you could easily run across it and not sink into it if you ran fast enough to where it didn't get you under. Now, if you see, when I'm moving my hands into the bowl slowly, they just go in without a problem. But if you go in with force, you're going to be stopped and slowed down. If you punch it, it's going to go down slowly. It's called non-Newtonian because Isaac Newton is the guy who came up with the principle stating what is a solid, a liquid, or a gas. And this, again, does not fit into any of those categories, but 100%. And that is our activity for the day. Again, it's super messy, but it's also super easy to clean up. So some of your parents may want you to do it outside. Some might be fine with you doing it inside if you help clean up. And that is it for today. Thank you. Please check out our website, subscribe down below, and